What's up, y'all? I'm out here at the range, as you can see behind me, on a fantastic sunny day out here. Got some interesting stuff planned for today. I've been doing a little bit of stuff already, and for this one here, we're going back to do a retest on the old atomic ammo we just did, but we're gonna give them a little boost this time. So we got the jelly contraption chilling in the shade over here with the chrono and 2 blocks of gel. Now, I've done one test in this already. It was actually a 380 test, so I'll leave a link above if y'all want to check that out. It ended up going a little bit further over than I wanted it to, but I think I still got plenty of room to make this one here happen. Of course, like I always mention, we got that heavy clothing barrier with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt material. And like I said, we're doing a retest of this atomic ammo here. We got the 9mm, which if y'all remember, I called Little Bleep, and then we got the 45 here, which I called Bleep Man. If y'all seen the first one, y'all know what that's all about. So 9mm plus P, 45 ACP plus P, it's already been determined 100%. These are Barry's hybrid projectiles in both of these. Now, as far as the velocity on this plus P9, they were saying 1300 here on the box. Out of the 3.1 inch barrel, we got into the 1200, so I was plenty happy with that. As a matter of fact, the performance on this was almost too fast. It got such massive expansion that it was a little lacking on penetration for my taste anyway. Now, the 45 ACP was the exact opposite. It did not get any kind of expansion whatsoever out of that 3.5 inch barrel. Now, the velocity they're claiming on the box of this is 1225 feet per second from a 185 grain projectile. We didn't even get close to that. We barely broke into the hundreds with that 3.5 inch barrel. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, there is no way, even out of a 5-inch barrel, that we're going to hit that 1225. It's just not going to happen. You just are not going to get that much more velocity from an extra 1.5 inches of barrel. Personally, I expect to see maybe 60, 70, maybe 80, and that's being very, very generous. I think some people sometimes just overestimate just how much velocity you gain from barrel length. So anyway, that's the ammo, the same exact 2 rounds, and this time we jumping up both barrel lengths to 5 inch. So for the 45, we got the 5-inch barrel Rock Island Armory 1911, and then for the 9mm here, I've got my 5-inch barrel Canik TP9SFx. So this should really be interesting to see what this added barrel length does for these rounds. Personally, I expect the 9 to hopefully expand even more and maybe get more penetration. As far as the 45, I don't know. We're definitely not going to see that 1225, I'm just telling you. But hopefully we get enough of a bump to get them expanded. Let's get this stuff set up and let's see what they can do. All right, let's see if we can get some speeds on this stuff. We're gonna do a 5-round average from each one, starting with the 9mm first. Now this, before out of the 3-inch, we had an average of 1219. I made me some notes here. A 1219 average from the 3-inch, and we had one high round kind of away from the rest of 1260. I just made a note of that. So now on this lab radar, I know I mention it every time, but you'll get multiple readings. The big number is your muzzle, and you're gonna get 5 additional readings at the bottom. I've got that set for 3 yards, 7, 10, 25, and 50. And we should get all those readings out of these if I've got this thing lined up real good. Let's see what we get, how much it speeds it up, y'all. Whew, that's definitely a lot louder. So we got 1290, so right there at the 1300 so far. 1345. 1362, 1312, and 1374. So one was low. Actually, I think I was almost opposite. I think the first one was really high on the 3-inch. This time the first one was low and the rest of them ramped on up. So pretty good. We met the 1300 with most of them. Let's see what the average was. All right, so our 5-round average that time was 1336. That's mainly because we had a high of 1374, a low of 1290. So our extreme spread again was super high, 84 with a standard deviation of 34.9. It was the same way with those shorter barrels. So I don't know what's going on with the extreme spread with these things. I'll do some looking and make sure all this is correct, but it should be. I hadn't had any problems out of this thing. But either way, that's a pretty decent amount faster than the 3-inch was. Let's reset it and let's check out the 45s. All right, let's see what old Chunk can do. We'll do 5 rounds of these also. Now, the 3.5 inch average on this was 1,008, and we had a crazy high of 1,052 that was out of line from the rest of them. So 1,008 was our average on this. Again, I don't think we're gonna pick up as much as we did with the 9, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully I am wrong on this. Got 1145, 1087, 1085, 1091, and 1094. So again, we had that high first round, but the rest of these were right about the same, 1080, 1090, which is only picking up about 80. So not even close to that 1225. I have no earthly idea where they got that 1225 on the box. All right, so that time on the 45s, our average was 1100, and that was with that high of 1145, a low of 1085. So these things is just getting extreme spread, pretty high extreme spreads on anything I run them out of so far. This time the spread was 60 and the standard deviation was 25.3. So go figure. I don't know what's going on with this stuff. It's done it out of both of these, and both of the other ones I believe had extreme spread. So no matter the barrel length, so 1100 here, even with the big extreme spread, that's picking up not quite 100. So again, I don't know where or how they got that 1225, but 1100 on that. And if you remember on the 9 mil, it was 1336, so 236 feet per second faster out that 9 mil, which again, it's not the same caliber, so it really doesn't matter. But I think we're gonna get good performance from the 9. Hopefully it peels them pedals on back and gets us some more penetration, more than it did out of 3-inch. As far as the 45, I don't know. That's not a whole lot more, so I'm really curious to see what we get there. Let's get this stuff set up, and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's Cool in the Gang jelly time. We'll put one of each round into the gel, starting with this 9 mil first. Like I said, I hope this thing is going so much faster that it peels it way on back and gives us some more penetration. That's really the only thing I didn't like about the 9. Well, let's see what we get here, y'all. All right, that should have been a perfect one. Let me go see what I got. All right, y'all, it definitely performed different than the 3-inch, but not in the way I wanted it to. And I don't know why, but I didn't even think about fragmenting at the higher speeds. And as y'all can see, that's exactly what it did. So let's see what this 45 does. I don't know about this 45. I'm very curious about this one. If I was gonna guess at this point, I mean, I'd like to say it's gonna get partial expansion, but I don't know. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Ah, that was awful low. I hope we stayed out at the bottom. Let's go see what we got. All right, let's check out what we got down here, y'all. That 45 was definitely a pleasant surprise. So let's start with the 9 up here first. On the top there, that's the 9 right here. It comes in, as you can see, immediate expansion right here, nice disruption and fragmentation, which, like I said, I totally didn't even think about it fragmenting, but that makes sense. It was either going to over expand and fold backwards or going to fragment, and it fragmented. So there's lots of the pedals right there. And then after that, it keeps on trucking. Looks like it was about to tumble around backwards, or maybe it did somewhere, but it's pretty much backwards. Sitting down here, got some expansion, but of course it lost a lot of its pedals. As far as the expansion, I forgot to even write down how much that 9 went. I want to say that 9 didn't even make it to 12 inches, or maybe right there at it through the 3-inch barrel. This one right here looks like it may have went a little bit further. And then down at the very bottom is our 45. That one a completely different story from the last time. It definitely needed that extra 100 feet per second, because as you can see, it came in here, immediate expansion. You can already tell, pretty nice disruption, not a whole lot of it, but pretty nice disruption there. Carries on through the block, and it's almost exactly the same penetration as that 9 mil. So I'm going to guess right around 13 on that. So as far as the 45, it definitely needed that longer barrel and a little bit more velocity to get it done. So as far as the penetration on them, this 9 mil mil is maybe an 1/8 of an inch away from 12 inches. So it's basically right at 12 inches, and that took losing all the petals to even get to there. And then your 45, it's the same thing, right at 12 inches. The little pieces that are kind of flurrying out from the front of it are right exactly 12 inches. So you did get the FBI minimum if that's what you're looking for. But again, me personally, I'd want a little bit more than that. So here's a little bit closer look at them. There's that 9, as you can see. It definitely dumped the petals off there, kept on rolling, and there you can see it. Got some expansion, but it lost a lot of material there. It looks like one of the petals there also. And then down on the very bottom here again, that's your 45. Comes on in here, keeps on rolling, and there you see it. Really, really nice expansion on that one. All right, y'all, let's check out these projectiles. Definitely no surprise which is which here. 45 ACP and then the 9 mil. Very different story between these two right here. As you can see, we'll look at this 45 first just because it's so pretty. I mean, perfect expansion. That thing is really, really nice. That's one thing about these Barry's hybrids. When they do act like they're supposed to act, they are really impressive looking. Really nice expansion, and they hold together really, really well. But then when they don't act right, you get stuff like this 9 mil. I mean, that thing just went all to pieces. You can see it lost every bit of the petals, if you want to call them. I guess they're still considered petals because I believe even these hybrids are plated. So lost everything. I mean, it lost a ton of material, just went all to pieces. Tons of that frag expansion we always talk about. So let's measure them up and see what we did lose. That 9 started at 124. And it's all the way down to 74.0. So it lost a ton of material. And then your 45 started at 185. It's at 184.4. So little to no loss from that 45. And then as far as your expansion size, we'll start with this 9 mil first. You got 524, 530, and 551. So some nice expansion on that, even though it lost a bunch of its material. And then this big old 45 here, you got 855, 842, and 867. So absolutely fantastic expansion from that 45. And there you go, y'all, the atomic ammo loaded with Barry's hybrids, longer barrel version with the 45 ACP and the 9 mil. Definitely very different story with the longer barrel than what we saw from the short barrels. 45, that's exactly what it needed. It needed that little bit of velocity. I think this right here, the 1100-ish range is the sweet spot for this 45 ACP. The 9 mil on the other hand, too much. This is too much in my opinion. I mean, it came all apart. You definitely do not want that, especially with a bonded round. I mean, that's the whole entire point of it. So way too much velocity here. In my opinion, it was even too much on that 3-inch. I mean, you just did not get the penetration. Even still here, both of these did not get the penetration that I would want. Now, I would probably still run this 45 because 45 is finicky anyway, although I would not go out and purposely buy this. If I had it, yes, I would run it, but I personally would not go out looking for either one of these rounds. All right, y'all, I think that pretty much does it once and for all for this atomic ammo. We definitely got different results this time from the longer barrels than we did from the short ones, but in my opinion, it's still nothing to really get excited about. I just don't like the fact that these things are so velocity dependent. I mean, there's just a very narrow window for these things to do what they're supposed to do. And even when they do, like in the case of this 45, I know that 12 inches is perfectly fine with some people and more than fine with some people. But for me, it's just not. I mean, I just want to have, you know, 14, 15 inches of penetration. I just feel like that's what's really needed in case you're not in that perfect situation. You never know what you're going to be up against. You never know what you're going to have to deal with barrier wise or just different angles or anything. So 12 inches, yes, it's the minimum, and it would probably get the job done in most cases, but I'd like to see a little more personally. Not only that, but the 9 mil had to go all to pieces to even get to that 12 inches, and it barely did. I mean, it's a hair short even, but we gave it to 12. So the 9, in my opinion, that's a complete failure as far as what that round is meant to do. You definitely don't want bonded type rounds coming apart and fragmenting all the pieces like that. But let me know what y'all think about the performance from these longer barrels. Did you like what you saw here better than the short ones? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed the video, reach down and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you got them notifications turned on so hopefully you get notified when I upload stuff. If you're doing some shopping, like I always remind you, check out those affiliate links in the video description. Any anything you buy after going through those links down there, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really appreciate that. As always, I appreciate all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel like y'all do. Got really good stuff on the way, so be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.